You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me is my co-host, Thad. Thad, how are you doing today?
I'm sort of questioning my decisions on coming on this podcast, but I think I'll be okay.
That's good. That's good. It's a few hundred episodes in here, you know. It's, yeah. All right. Well, also joining us today is Donny Winter, host of Growing Up with Godzilla. Let's see, and your other podcast is over now, right? That's why I didn't write it down. So, yes. The name of which is escaping me at the moment.
Restitching the Tapestry.
There we go, thank you. Go back and listen to the old episodes of Restitching the Tapestry. It still exists. It's still wonderful. It's just not new. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Donny. Good to have you on.
Always good to be here, even when I have to scavenge for a witty response.
Oh, yes. All right, well, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producer, Carl Wonders. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10, and your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all of the shows on the network ad-free. All right, we had no news this week, as far as I know.
No, real news.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about all the stuff, all the, rumors coming out of STOV about various new Star Trek shows that aren't actually going to happen.
Yeah, I love how Scott Bakula shows up to a convention for the first time in years, and everybody's like, we're going to get a President Archer show.
So, that's not Scott Bakula's fault.
No, I know it isn't. But
No, because Michael Sussman was also at STOV this year, and he's the one that mentioned on one of his panels that he and Bakula had come up with this idea that they pitched to Paramount.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then
yeah,
someone asked Bakula about it, of course, and he said, I can't really talk about that. All I could say is there have been discussions, which of course people took the wrong way. He meant he and Michael Sussman had discussed it, not that he was in discussions with Paramount to make it. Anyway, a President Archer show would be awesome, but there's no actual evidence that is coming. The same is true for all the other possible Star Trek shows that people keep talking about. Yeah.
Ooh, people just take it and run with it.
Because Simon Pegg mentioned in his panel, and he even said that it never went anywhere, but Simon Pegg mentioned in his panel that he had an idea for a movie about Jayla at the Academy.
Yes, I saw that.
And he said it hadn't gone anywhere and wasn't going to happen, but of course people ran with it.
Well, hope springs eternal, I guess.
Yeah. And of course, all the actors, whenever asked, would you like to return, they'll always say yes, because they like making money.
Yeah. Yeah. And are they going to say no to that crowd and then be able to get out of the building? I mean...
Right. Yeah, imagine Scott Bakula shows up for the first time in 9 years. Someone says, would you like to come back as Archer? He's like, nah, f*** that guy. There's no...
Wow, it's been 9 years since he's been to a convention. That's kind of wild to me.
Wow.
I don't know if he may have been to some convention somewhere between then and now, but this is the last time he was at STOV was...
Oh, this particular... Okay.
Yeah.
He is coming back next year, though, for the 25th anniversary of Enterprise, which, I know, right?
25th anniversary. God.
But and that's probably why they got him this year, because Colin Meaney canceled at the last minute, and I'm guessing they had just recently finalized, made that contract with Bakula, so they probably called him back up, if we add another 0, will you come this year too?
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
I did love. Was it? Wait, shoot. Was it at STLV or at one of the Comic Cons where it had to have been STLV? Anyway, Kurtzman was talking about bringing back.
Well, that would have been Comic-Con. Kurtzman was not in STLV.
Okay. The guy we love to hate in the last season of Picard, who we turned out loving, the captain, whose name
Shaw.
escapes me.
Oh, no,
Shaw.
that was STLV. That was Terry Matalas. Was talking
Terry
about that.
Matalas. Excuse me. Yeah, was talking about bringing him back as an emergency hologram.
And
Who was
again,
never turned off. Yeah, not gonna happen.
He specifically said that he was asked about Star Trek about the legacy, and he said that there are no discussions about Legacy happening, but his plan for Legacy was that Shaw would have been the emergency engineering hologram. And of course, again, none of these shows are happening. These are just things that these creatives would do if they were given the, resources, money, etc.
I still want to believe that Legacy could happen at some point. I don't think we're too far out from the suggestion. And for whatever it's worth, which is probably nothing, I saw a couple of big old headlines about how Skydance is very much invested in making more Trek. So,
so there's another idiotic rumor that's been going around. That
I knew those headlines were too good to be true.
No. Skydance invested in Star Trek. That one's real. No, there's a rumor that Skydance will be canceling all ties with Alex Kurtzman and creating a separate Star Trek Studios. That's fake. This is another Alex Kurtzman has been fired rumor.
I was just gonna say he's got pretend fired for the 150th time.
In fact, specifically, they have said that Star Trek is not moving. It is staying with CBS Studios.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
What possible purpose would there be in moving it?
Well, the rumor is that they were creating a separate Star Trek studio, sort of like how Disney has a separate Marvel studio. But no, that's not.
All right, that would make sense.
That would make sense if they were going to do that, but they're not going to do that because Star Trek is not Marvel. Listen, I know, I love Star Trek. I wish Star Trek was as big as Marvel too, but it's not.
No.
And all we really know about vis-a-vis Kurtzman is that the contract between CBS and Secret Hideout goes through the end of 2026. Whether they choose to renew it or go a different direction at that point, no one knows, but Kurtzman has not been fired.
Again.
For like the 4,000th time, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well. Well, I got my fingers crossed for a 20.
Yeah, no, the news from Skydance is very good. They specifically call out Star Trek as something they want to continue investing in. They've said they want to have a holistic approach to the movies and the TV shows, so the movies and the TV shows will be related to each other. So that's cool. We're going back to the 90s.
Okay, if it's in that way, I hear that sometimes, and I worry that it will turn people off to going to a movie if they haven't been able to keep up with the streaming show.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's more. That the things that happen in the movies will be referenced in the shows and vice versa, but you won't have been required to see one or the other.
Right.
In the same way that that in 1996 you could go see Star Trek First Contact without having seen all of TNG.
Might be a little confused in that case, but yeah.
Maybe a little, but even then, I think they explain it enough.
I'm being.
I really hope we don't get a Mandalorian and Grogu situation.
Yeah.
Which I'm still really confused why that movie is going to happen. But
wait. No, this is new. Okay. New information to me. They're making a Mandalorian movie.
Yeah, they've been working on it for a while.
I barely keep up with stuff that I keep up with. I watch it, but I haven't.
There is a Star Wars movie that is titled Mandalorian and Grogu, and it will be picking up where the Mandalorian has left off.
So they decided to make a movie instead of another season
Yeah.
of the series. Okay. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Unless it's a TV movie, which it's not.
It's not a TV movie. It's a
Right. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming next year.
Okay. I'm like 3 shows behind on Star. I still haven't seen the second season of Andor. I still haven't seen.
I have not seen the second season.
I'm way
of Andor
behind.
yet.
I'm way behind too.
I've seen all the others, but I haven't seen the second season of Andor yet.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that
ends.
gets really contrarian, and when everyone and their cousin's sister's roommate is telling me, "Oh God, this is so good! You need to watch this right now." It's like, I'm putting them on the back burner, and that's how I feel about Andor. Like, I really enjoyed season 1, and I'm sure when I watch season 2, I will like it. But at the same time, I just get so annoyed with everyone telling me I need to watch it right now.
Right now.
I get annoyed with TikTok because, like, the moment a season drops...
I could have just stopped that sentence right there at I get annoyed with TikTok. But yes.
Well, so many people, like, will post, like, key scenes, so it spoils you immediately. I had that happen with earlier this season on Strange New Worlds. Like, people were posting, like, full-on videos of scenes, and I'm like, are you serious right now? I mean, I'm one of those people, like, I can handle spoilers and still enjoy something, but I was like... Those were some key details I would have liked to know on the spot, not...
So, like, I guess it's just I'm old, but I don't get the appeal of short-form video.
Yeah.
It's just to appeal to quick ease of access for people, I think.
Short attention spans. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on what it is. You know, like, if it's just...
Like, I even get annoyed when YouTube recommends a video that's less than 10 minutes long. It's like...
Oh, okay. Because there's some shorts that I like. There's a...
Occasionally, yeah, but, like, in general, I prefer more long-form stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what information's being conveyed in the short-form content. Like, if it's, like... because it's just meant to be more digestible, because, like... I mean, with my podcast, like, I will shorten certain segments down just for, like, a message or a theme or something like that.
Yeah.
I also...
Comedy works well like that.
Yes, comedy is good for that.
That's where I like that, yeah.
Yeah, because, no, I definitely... Yes, I will admit, I do watch, like, Instagram Reels from, like, stand-up comedians and stuff, because those can be fun. But I also just... I wonder about TikTok, Reels, etc. The attention span issues that this may be causing with people.
Oh, for years. It's been causing issues for years.
Yeah. The number of times I've had students tell me that I need to make short form videos of my lectures, and I'm like,
that's not how lectures
work. That's not how history works, nor how lectures work.
Listen, I've tried to condense my lecture videos down to, like, I can do, like, 10, 15-minute ones, but, like, anything shorter than that, I'm like,
Doesn't work.
I saw your
kids today.
I saw your recent post, Chrissy, where you're saying that you frequently get essays that'll have in the middle of your subscription to this language model has expired.
Well, not specifically that, but markers. The one I get the most is, if you'd like to know more about this, just ask, or, you know, the equivalent of that. And I'm just like, oh God, what?
Proofread people.
Stupid cheating. If you're gonna cheat, like,
at least be efficient.
Just try a little bit. Like, when I used to get people would copy paste Wikipedia articles and leave the links for the notes in. And I'm just like, you're not even trying. It makes my job easier, but you're not even trying.
Right.
I would sometimes like download other people's essays and then rewrite and like take the themes from their essays and completely rewrite them. But at that point, you're only slightly...
That's research.
Yeah. I mean, it's still kinda... That's still like that's certainly not a morally white area.
As long as you cite your source, you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are?
But like,
are we
I would
involved in?
do the work to make sure I didn't get caught. Was the point?
Yeah. In the process of which you probably learned about whatever the topic was, and so
Right.
the purpose of the assignment was fulfilled in that way.
Yeah.
I always go back to I think it's Growing Pains. There's an episode where one of the kids like writes all the answers to the test on his shoes, and then he never ends up having to look at it because he learned the material.
And it's like, oh.
Oh, you mean that's how
I would sometimes write formulas on the inside of my calculator, the cover, because they would check your calculator to make sure you didn't have any programs that could do them for you, but they never checked the cover to see if you had written them out in pencil.
Good call.
Clever.
See, okay.
But again, if I had
me-
written out the formula, that meant I had to know how to use the formula.
Right. You still had to know which one to use, but
Yeah.
this is something that drives me crazy about that, because like no professional historians don't not have research materials in front of them. Professional
Right.
mathematicians do not, are not required to not look up a formula. It's so those kind of rules are ridiculous to me. It's just
Yeah.
I bet they're ridiculous to Jim Kirk too.
I bet school teachers don't tell students you won't have a calculator with you all the time anymore.
We know Jim Kirk hates the rules.
He doesn't like to lose.
No. And he definitely doesn't want to be bored while they're orbiting a planet doing a geological survey. I can bring it around.
What a great
See how that goes?
transition.
Yeah.
I mean, I just assumed you were going to cut everything until this point.
Probably will do that anyway, but well, the stuff about the news is relevant.
Yeah, fair.
Right. So today we are here to talk about the Selhat Who Ate Its Tail, which is quite a title. And not when I saw the title, I really didn't know what to think what the episode was going to be about.
Yeah.
But I figured there was the small part of me that wondered if this was going to be the episode that we saw in the trailers with the what ended up being 4.5 Vulcans.
Right. When I was first reading the list of
will be
episodes,
4.5
I
Vulcans.
thought that was, and then I saw 4.5 Vulcans. I'm like, no, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be a funny episode, not a heavy episode. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh.
You'd think with that title, but oh yeah, this was good. Okay, so Donnie, first impressions, initial thoughts on. On this episode.
So I honestly, this may be one of my favorite episodes of the season so far, because I think it creates some great character development moments, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I really loved the moral play that happens. Like, it very much gave me TNG vibes with the way that it kind of took the morality of a situation and really kind of showed us both sides of a perspective. I really valued that.
Thad, your thoughts?
I agree. I think this is my favorite of the season so far. And yes, it is a very Star Trek-y episode. In the sense, yes, we have that, the morality, we just have so much about this feels like Star Trek.
Yeah.
I did think at first when we're watching this, I'm like, why are we doing Doomsday Machine when Doomsday Machine is happening in a couple years?
Oh, I was about to be so annoyed by that.
Misdirect.
Yeah, I literally said I had to pause it, and I was like, am I going to be annoyed? Am I going to be annoyed that something that's not happened yet? It's not supposed to happen yet, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes, I was too. Although I do think that it is now my headcanon that off screen in Doomsday Machine at some point Kirk turns to Spock and is like, hey, this is kind of like that thing.
Yes. Do we want to make sure that this is not a bunch of humans?
Let's double check.
It's like every time I watch, the DS9 episode, where I literally, is it not Starship Down, where they're in they're trying to get away from the Jem'Hadar in the gas giant.
That is Starship Down.
That is Starship Down. Okay. Every time I see that, all I can think of is O'Brien must be sitting there going, "This really reminds me of that time that the Enterprise hit a quantum filament." It's just like,
Which is different from a cosmic string.
which is different from a cosmic string, yeah. Uh,
I love that episode.
but yeah, oh, me too. Both of them, both Disaster
so-
and
Yeah,
They're so
when
great.
When Sisko regains consciousness and asks Kira what happens, and she starts to tell him, he's like, "No, in the story you were telling me."
the brothers. Yep. Anyway, yes. So, what was I? Yeah, I liked that misdirect, and I liked that it kind of connected to that idea that there is the unknown. There's always it's not Ortegas, or is it Ortegas that says it talks about the professor that talks about the off the edge of the map, and it's the equivalent of the here there be dragons kind of thing, and I love that. So
I love that.
yeah, this
too.
was good. This was good. This was a heavy episode, but
Sure.
in that Trek way that is, it leaves you thinking, and I love it. Yeah. Best episode of the season so far, I think. Although there is a soft place in my heart for, Baby Q, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
different feel.
I have liked quite a few episodes this season. I really enjoyed Through the Lens of Time. I liked
Yeah.
a Space Adventure Hour a lot as well.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, so
They've all been great.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hegemony Part 2 is probably the weakest one. But I'm very much enjoying Strange New Worlds this season, and this episode just hits it out of the park.
Agreed.
All right, well, we start on the Farragut with Kirk recording a log complaining about how he's bored, and then tries to convince his captain, who is a Vulcan with one of the least logical hairstyles I've ever seen.
Are hairstyles ever logical?
Exactly. But
I was
I mean,
like,
it looked
how
good.
fancy for a
it
Vulcan.
was very
Okay.
poofy, and that probably took some effort. And where's the logic in that?
Either
But okay.
that, or it's just how it looks when she rolls out of bed, and she's just like, it's not logical to bother to style this.
That's true.
Would she have a pixie cut, or what? It wasn't a bowl cut. We know. I think it was more of a pixie cut. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we love a Vulcan with some style.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells them to bring them into a low geosynchronous orbit, which, as far as I know, is not a thing that you can do, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, geosynchronous orbit. You just
Yes,
you pick a spot and you
geosynchronous,
stay
yes.
over it. But I guess how low is low?
Right, and that's because
Yeah.
you can't go extremely low for in a geosynchronous orbit.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's trying to convince her to let them go down to the planet, and then the planet explodes.
So, okay, here we go. A geosynchronous orbit typically refers to a specific altitude, approximately 35,786 kilometers, where the synchronization occurs. Now, obviously, depending on the size of the planet, that specific altitude would change, but it would still be a specific altitude.
Okay. I didn't know that. I always assumed geosynchronous was related to what was underneath you and not
It is, but you have to
how
be
far.
It is absolutely related to what is underneath you. That's because you stay in the same spot above the planet. But in order to do that, you have to be at a specific altitude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No,
Love
good
that.
job. Learn something new every day. The actress that plays the captain does a very nice job of bouncing off of the helm when she gets flung out of her chair.
That was wild.
Yeah. So, of course, the captain's injured and Kirk is left in command, and this is how we end up with the scene in the trailer. I mean, it's later, but the scene in the trailer where Spock is saying, "You're in command," and it looks like it's the bridge of the Enterprise because they did that good old-fashioned original series bit where they just filmed it on the same set and said it was a different ship. So that was a nice... I was wondering how that was going to fall out, what was going to happen that was going on, and it never occurred to me, of course, it's a different ship with the same bridge.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw that all the way back in... when they first announced that Paul Wesley was Kirk. One of the promo shots was him sitting in the chair, and then we find out that's him on a different ship in. Yeah, so it's just they like to sneak a lot of stuff on us.
Yeah, and they're good at that, and I'm not complaining.
Can we talk about? This is kind of a slight segue. Can we talk about how newer Star Trek just loves to blow up a planet? Like, I feel like every season there was like some big planetary. I'm like, what's happened to these planets? Like,
okay, but like as we mentioned, it starts out kind of similar to the Doomsday Machine, which does in fact destroy multiple planets in TOS. So
that is true. We don't visually see the planetary destruction.
Well,
though.
yeah, we have a better special effects budget now.
Yeah.
It was a very impressive planetary explosion.
I mean, the entirety of Wrath of Khan is based on a planetary explosion, so...
That's true.
There's that.
That is very
true. And the
true.
crew, the Reliant not being able to count.
That has always bothered me. It's just like... Did no one notice that the star charts were a little different? Something was off? I mean, just...
Yeah.
My only possible explanation for that is they didn't chart the entire solar system. They were looking for the sixth planet, and they were doing that by coming in from the outside, so they were counting back from the farthest out to the innermost, and since Ceti Alpha 6 had been destroyed, Ceti Alpha 5 would be the one that they would assume was 6, is the only explanation I have for that.
That's a good explanation. That's,
There you have it, everyone.
This is Ceti Alpha 5!
I like how Vanguard tried to fix that.
Yes.
But that actually makes it worse because if it was...
Because there should be records.
Even though it was a secret experiment thing, it's just...
it's a secret experiment, but the existence of the explosion of the planet should have been a record.
Spoilers for a 20-some-odd-year-old novel series that everybody should read anyway.
And a 40-some-odd-year-old movie that everyone should watch.
Absolutely.
If you are listening to this and haven't seen Wrath of Khan, I would like to know how...
Then I'd like to ask, are you okay? Then I'd like to ask, what have you been doing?
You say that, but it's possible there are some people that have only watched some of the newer stuff and listened to the podcast.
That's true.
Fair.
That is true.
To which I say, that's totally fine, but I do highly recommend watching Wrath of Khan.
Even if you're not going to watch any of the other, you need to watch Wrath of Khan. And watch Voyage Home, because it's fun.
And watch Search for Spock, so you understand how they get from Wrath of Khan to Voyage.
Yes,
I am a shameless Search for Spock stan.
Search for Spock rules.
I love it.
So I'm always watch that trilogy, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is a trilogy.
I'm reminded when the 2009 film came out, I found, just in my local Walmart, a box set of on Blu-ray, Star Trek's 2 through 4. And it was made, there was no picture on it. It was just the stylized Delta, from the 2009 film, with the caption underneath of an epic 3-part series starring Kirk and Spock.
Oh, that wasn't meant to confuse people at all.
Yeah, that is absolutely supposed to,
I love it. Props on their marketing. I mean, yeah. All right, so the Farragut gets caught up in the explosion of the planet and gets severely damaged.
Yeah,
and
lots of Corky rocks falling from the ceiling there.
Definitely.
And just open flame on the bridge,
intense.
Yeah.
That's honestly my biggest one of my biggest complaints with modern Star Trek is how often there is open flame on the bridge when the ship gets destroyed. Why is this a thing?
What is flammable on the metal and plastic panel? And if it is actually a flame, then the toxic the toxic smoke that's being put out. Just don't be on the bridge.
And why is there not a fire suppression system?
Well, obviously it's broken.
Oh, right, yeah, it's like the
damn
holidays.
it.
I mean,
Uh,
it's just one of the cordry rocks fell onto it, and then that was
Yeah,
the
like-
end of it. So
some of these fires, it's just the floor is on fire. And, like, what? What is burning?
somebody had a drink and they spilled it, and then
Somebody had a drink they should not have been drinking on duty.
somebody was hiding a flask. Yeah, no, it is. It's very much for effect and not, and they don't think about that. But that's okay.
Like, I get the sparks from the panels, although I think
Oh, yeah,
circuit
that's
breakers,
different.
should be a thing that would prevent that.
You'd
But
think.
the open flames just don't logically make sense to me.
But
If the captain were still conscious, she would comment on it.
yeah,
She'd be
she
like,
would.
that is not logical.
Yeah. So Enterprise comes to the rescue, and we get Spock, Uhura, Scotty, La'an, and Chapel beamed over to the Farragut, and then we have to have a reason for La'an to go back to Enterprise so that we can have some of the core TOS crew there.
Conveniently, just before the...
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. If La'an had tried to beam, like, a second later, would she have just been, like, disappeared and, like, ceased to exist?
One would hope it would have bounced her back. Although that would explain why we don't see her on the original series. That could have been a real quick fix.
Jeez, that's dark.
Yes, it is dark. It's
La'an's not in
meant to be.
TOS because she just disappeared in the transporter one day.
killed in action. Didn't say how. All right, so this scavenger ship. It's got a face on it.
So, you know what my first thought is? The first
Yeah.
thing that it reminds me of?
Mm-hmm.
So, Lord of the Rings Return of the King.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The giant battering ram that the orcs use on Minas Tirith. Grand. Change disc. It's... Sorry, because that's what I always think, because that scene is they do the whole build up to Grand, and then you get the change disc screen.
Yeah. Oh, that brought back a core memory.
Yeah.
That face of Grand it reminds me of this.
Okay. This goes to show you how much, how much Warhammer stuff I've taken in because of Jay. Even though I could not tell you, I know virtually nothing about Warhammer except these little bits and pieces, and I looked at that and I went, that looks like something from 40K.
I mean, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it does. It's just totally, yeah. I once impressed a student because they said something. They made some comment and they said blood for the blood god, and I was like, skulls for the skull
for the
throne.
skull
And
throne.
they looked at me and they're like, you know Warhammer? And I'm like, oh, I don't actually know. Just know that.
I love that.
So yeah, so that is a pretty nasty looking ship, and I would not want to encounter it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary. It was very scary. I thought it was a life form at first.
Really
I thought it was a what?
I thought it was a life form at first. Like when we,
Oh yeah, because
I was like, "What space creature is this?" But then
I really need the Star Trek tie-in novel about the history of the scavengers.
Yes.
I agree.
Because that would be done correctly. That could be a wonderfully sympathetic and gut-wrenching, because you know where it's going to end, and yeah.
Feels like a John Jackson Miller book, because all the militaristic stuff and whatnot. I think we need that.
Yep. And we know John Jackson Miller listens, so you could get on that.
I don't know that he listens when we're not talking about his books.
I don't know that he listens at all. I was.
He did listen when we talked about his book, but
Of course, yes, that's true.
but I doubt he's just a subscriber. But hey, if you are, I also know
Yeah.
that you don't get to choose what books you write for Star Trek, but you
That's
could
true.
like put John Jackson Miller, if you're listening, like call up Paramount and be like, hey, I'd like to write this book, and maybe they'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, the authors used to get to pitch books, otherwise Peter David wouldn't have been able to write all the wonderful stuff he did.
Right, but they were doing multiple books a month back then.
I know, yeah. Whole other thing.
Yeah.
So most of the Farragut's crew gets evacuated to the Enterprise, including Captain Varel, who Chapel describes as needing a craniectomy.
So she needs a new skull?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure that doesn't actually mean that, because I feel like somebody in the writing staff would have been like, let's Google that and make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't actually know if that's what that means, but based on those combinations of word pieces, that's what it sounds like to me.
What we were all taught in school to get the context clues of the.
Okay,
of
here
the
we
word.
go.
Yeah,
Okay. This makes sense.
You looked it up too. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen this in many movies and TV shows. In fact, I just recently watched Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World, and they do this. It's the surgical procedure where a portion of the skull is removed to relieve pressure on the brain. Fundoscopic surgery is required.
Yes. I was just thinking. We're back to the voyage home.
Boring holes in the man's head is not the solution. The artery must be repaired.
But they're not worried about that at the moment because they got eaten by the ship, the scavenger ship. Which, they have this scavenger ship. They're having a difficult time surviving, but they had enough time to design the scavenger ship in such a way that it had a big old face with a big old mouth that they could scavenge with. So that's fine.
Yeah.
You can't let the symbolism go. You can't just have a.
Again, this is why we need the book to explain how
why
we
why
went
do they
from...
need a mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Strike fear into the hearts of everyone, but So Kirk is left in charge, and it's his first time really being in charge in an emergency and all the rest, and he has kind of a freak out.
Well, yeah, especially because at the beginning of the episode, he wanted to send people down to the planet who would have died, so that's definitely causing him to second guess every thought he has.
Which you can understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like getting this more vulnerable side of Kirk because I feel like I don't feel like we really get an opportunity to see that often. And because it's interesting because I saw a couple of people on the internet like ranting like Kirk was too vulnerable, and I'm like, he was so young at this time.
He's baby Kirk.
And like so new to the experience. Like, yeah, like he had to have his growing moments as well.
Yeah.
Baby Kirk.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It went
triggered.
into my head as soon as Chrissy said it, and I couldn't.
That's
I had
okay.
to...
I don't even think about that, and I say that phrase. I go like, "Oh, that's baby something," and then somebody will start that, and I should know better by now, but I don't.
Yeah, for those who are curious, James Kirk is 28 years old at this point.
Oh gods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, he's only 60 when he dies, Kirk.
Oh right. I was my head. I was like, oh wait, yeah, he was in the Nexus. I was like, he had to have been older than that. But
I mean, he was like 130, but he was actually 60.
Yeah, 130 and like it was 130 years after he was born, but
I just casually forgot half the movie. I was like, oh.
It's all right.
I mean, the Nexus is the worst part of that movie, so that's fair. That whole Picard Christmas with the kids thing.
I mean, it makes me kind of emotional, but I'm also like,
I don't care that Picard's nephew had just died. This man who hates children is not going to view his, like, ultimate fantasy of having Christmas morning with a bunch of children.
In like 1890.
Right.
With a random ensign. If they had just put Gates McFadden in there, it would have made so much more sense.
Oh, it would have.
And Wesley. Have Wesley there,
Actually,
too.
it would have made it even more interesting if they put Gates McFadden.
Mm-hmm. But it had already been established, so it's not like no one would have been surprised to be like, oh yeah, that's what he wants in his life. So
No, because if they had put Gates McFadden in, then she would have had more than 3 lines in the whole movie, and they can't have that.
There's that.
I'm still salty about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has the line in. Actually, she might only have 2 lines in the movie. She's got when she talks to Data before he throws her over off the ship, and she wakes Geordi up, and either Larissa or B'Etor says human females are so repulsive. I think those are the only parts where Crusher has any speaking role in that movie.
That's painful.
Oh, she does tell everybody, hold their heads, or something, when they're evacuating.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So 3 lines.
Okay.
4? Still not much.
Yeah. All right, so Enterprise is in the scavenger ship.
Yes.
And it's been hooked up with a bunch of tubes that are draining all the power.
Including a TARDIS.
Yes. Yeah, and there's all sorts of other ships in there, too, that we get little chunks of. There's a Klingon ship that we see later.
Which will be important later, which you have to be watching very carefully, because they never actually explain in dialogue how important that Klingon ship will be at the end. But yes, there's a Klingon ship that Spock remarks on. We see, but it is not mentioned, a tiny TARDIS attached. Well, it's not a tiny TARDIS, it's a normal-sized TARDIS, attached to the nacelle of the ship. That is, I'm assuming this is like R2-D2 in Into Darkness, or the Millennium Falcon in First Contact, and we are not gonna get a real crossover. But hey, we've been talking about that for a while now, so maybe.
I know that feels like an episode of Doctor Who, right there.
Could be.
Assuming that we're going to get more episodes of Doctor Who.
I'm still waiting for the one where they do the crossover where he shows up on the set of Trek, like you were talking about. I love that.
That would be amazing.
I love that idea. Right. So it's draining all the power. La'an thinks it is the destroyer of worlds, which I said is always that representative of the unknown. When humans travel places, we have to say there are dragons off the edge of the map or whatever. They start doing a search deck by deck because they assume they've been boarded. They find Pelia, and we find out how old she is. You don't live to be 5,000 by getting shot.
So, let's unpack that for a second. Pelia saw the pyramids being built.
I love Pelia.
Yep.
She's great.
I feel like she's been getting more scenes this season, and I think that's the best thing. That's the best decision they made. Because she's great. And she was especially great in, the last episode, too. Just 2 episodes, a lot of Pelia. Or key Pelia moments.
I was looking up what the date was on this episode.
We're in 2261.
2261, okay. Thank you. I'm gonna have my calculator out here. She saw the pyramids being built. She also
don't forget that there was no year 0. I know you don't need to be quite that accurate, but
yeah. No, I'm just how much of Mesopotamian history does she?
Well, technically, we don't know she has any She could have been somewhere else in the world, but
that's true. No, I mean, how much of Mesopotamian history would she have seen? Because when I think of early civilization and go hang out with Sargon of Akkad, the actual one, not the jerk on the internet. I don't even know if he's still around anymore, but I hope he's not. Yeah, so Pelia is like, I want to talk to Pelia just in general, but as a historian, really. So yeah, so that we had been told somewhere along the line that Lanthanites lived thousands of years, but it was not. I don't think it was ever specified. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Pelia predates Judaism.
Oh,
Whoa.
Now that I think about it.
Well, that depends on who you ask.
Okay. Pelia predates Judaism within the context of the Torah.
Okay.
Yeah, within its own context.
But, like, you know, if we're following Jewish tradition, when do we say that Judaism starts in Jewish tradition? Are they going to say it starts with Abraham, or are they going to say it starts, with earlier than that?
The creation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I was thinking Abraham, but yeah. There should be a Pelia religion. Come on, people. That makes
I
more
want
sense.
her to just make an offhand comment about, hanging out with Jesus one day or something.
that'd be iconic.
Doesn't she? In one of the novels, she makes a joke about hanging out with Mary Magdalene, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
Yeah. So close enough. Yeah. So I love how her personal history gets into this, and of course we will go further on that in a bit. But so we get scavengers on Enterprise. Pike, La'an, and Redshirt go looking for them.
You'll never
The
guess
Redshirt
which one gets
dies.
shot.
Yeah. The tech issue is interesting to me here. The whole, like, they can suck in the phaser fire and use it as energy, but they're still using what is essentially a projectile weapon.
Yeah.
I want to know, like you say, this is asking for a novel to explain how all of this worked. And yeah. And then one of them sees Pike and he has the chance to kill him and he doesn't. So now we're confused. Kirk wants to follow the ship. We said that already. He actually tells Scotty to be a miracle worker. I love that we're seeing how Scotty becomes Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
Not something I ever thought about before. Not something I ever was like, I need to know this history. But now that we're seeing it, I'm so glad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone posted on Blue Sky that they can't wait for Strange New Worlds to give us the episode about how Scotty goes from a nice young man who doesn't drink much to a workaholic misogynist with a drinking problem.
Well, we saw the start of the drinking problem
We did.
in Wedding Bell Blues, so that's a start. I don't know. Pelia has some of those workaholic vibes, but then you look at it and you go, okay, but that's
Yeah,
not
and
quite workaholic the way we think of it.
And
'Cause she's
I'm
also,
willing to just forget that Wolf in the Fold happened and pretend that Scotty doesn't have a misogyny issue.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah.
Like, even as a kid, I thought that was messed up when they were like, Scotty is in real danger of resenting women for the rest of his life because a woman caused the explosion that injured him. And like, what?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same logic that wouldn't let Janice Lester have a starship. So that was an alternate. That was Mirror Scotty or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the scavengers are looking for something called aldentum.
That's how you want to cook your pasta.
That's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking too. I love it. So that's on a very nearby planet, Sullivan's World.
Sullivan's World. That sounded familiar to me. I looked it up and I thought it was in Star Trek before, but it wasn't.
Well, it reminds you a
I had
little
the same
Sherman's
thought.
planet from Trouble with Tribbles.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I ended up thinking. I was thinking of, but
Or the planet from TNG, from the episode where the scientist, imbues himself into Data. Isn't
Data's grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
He
love
has like
him
a
is to know
self-named
him is to
planet.
love him. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
What's the name of that episode? It's the one with Dr. Solar.
Is it the Schizoid Man?
Schizoid
Yes, it
Man's the
is.
episode.
Yeah.
Ira Graves is the name of the
Graves
scientist.
World. That's the name of the planet.
Yeah.
Graves World, yep.
So in this case, it's weird that it's Sullivan's planet, but it has a pre-warp society on it. So how did it get the name Sullivan's planet? Because normally you would think it would be if like somebody named Sullivan owned the planet, but in this case, it's a pre-warp society. So why does it have a name like that?
Mm-hmm.
Stellar cartographer, named after himself.
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
Pulled an Amerigo Vespucci. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I was expecting, when they said it was pre-warp and they couldn't talk to them, I'm like, that name doesn't make sense. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you'd expect it more to be like Sullivan 4 or something, rather than just Sullivan's planet.
Maybe there's only one in the system.
Yeah.
So it's the planet attached
I'm
to
just thinking of how they always name planets in like the TNG era, where they give they just give the star system a name and then
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the number.
Yeah. Well, either way, they're looking for pasta, and their great weakness is that they are huge, and therefore they have a difficult time sustaining a warp field, and so they're going to go very slow. Okay. And so then they're going to go overtake the scavenger, but then the engines fail. And Kirk starts blaming himself because Scotty told him the engines would fail.
Mm-hmm. I love that we see Scotty working in the Jeffries tube a la
beautiful.
TOS.
And talking to everything. Yes.
And swearing. It was great.
Yep. Don't. Oh. I talk to stuff like that. We all talk to machines like that. It's just, So, Kirk gets completely overwhelmed. They consider relieving him from command for medical reasons, psychological reasons. I didn't like this. This seemed a little bit jumping way too far too quickly.
Mm-hmm. I felt that way too. I was just like, I don't think we need to get there. I don't think we need to do the medical thing.
We're just continuing the Doomsday Machine parallels here.
Right.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But Kirk was not having like a Captain Ahab moment like Commodore, whatever his name was, Decker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of Kirk and Scotty, I find it interesting. So, Scotty is 11 years older than Kirk. Paul Wesley is 12 years older than Martin Quinn.
Yeah. And they are not presenting Scotty as somebody who's older.
No, they're not. They're presenting him as someone younger.
Uh-huh.
And I just find this interesting.
I do think that's interesting too.
I will be interested to see how they handle it when they introduce Bones.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Bones is also younger than Kirk, then that's a problem.
I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
I'm going to be writing a letter.
Like, Scotty, it's kind of vague, like, particularly in the original series. They all seem kind of an age, you know, they're not...
Yeah, but, like,
It's
once
not
you get to the
obvious.
movies, you can definitely
But
tell Scotty's older.
Yes. But you could, you know, if there had never been a date established of his birth, you could be like, well, some people live harder than others and go gray earlier.
Bones is actually 5 years younger than Scotty.
Yeah, I never looked those numbers up, and I would not have guessed that.
I didn't know that until I just looked this up on Memory Alpha. I mean, I knew Scotty was older than Kirk.
Yeah, Scott.
but...
Yeah. I guess DeForest Kelley was the oldest of them, so I always just assumed that Bones was the oldest too,
Mm-hmm.
which I should not have done. But yeah, I think we're just gonna smile and nod at that one. The same way that if Chekhov shows up, you know, they are really they're kind of putting him in the Chekhov role in a bit.
DeForest Kelley was the oldest of them, but only by like a month and a half older than
really?
James Doohan. Yeah. Again, this is not information that I just keep in my head. This is memory alpha. Yeah. But DeForest Kelley was born January 20th, 1920, and James Doohan was born March 3rd, 1920.
Okay. Well, like I said, some people live harder lives than others. Which is funny because James Doohan saw a lot worse combat.
I was going to say James Doohan fought in World War II.
Well, they were both in the war, but Kelley was making propaganda films for them.
Right. Whereas James Doohan stormed the beaches on D-Day.
On Normandy, yeah, lost a finger. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I read his autobiography years ago, and he titles that chapter "Giving Hitler the Finger."
Yes, rightly so. Right. So I think I kind of feel like they're giving Scotty some of the Chekhov vibes.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
A young kid who's learning, which I'm kind of okay with. You know.
Yeah. No. Well, it's because Martin Quinn is. It's hard not to love him. He plays the character so well and in such a way that like you just have to like him.
Yeah, he's
And I can tell you, having just met him last week, he is just like that in person.
Oh, I love it. I it's always been Jimmy Doohan, then Simon Pegg, and then whoever else. But now it's definitely Jimmy Doohan, then Martin Quinn, then Simon Pegg.
And Simon Pegg is also
anything
great.
Against Simon Pegg's, he's as great. But yeah.
Yeah, I got an awesome photo with both Simon Pegg and Martin Quinn last week.
Saw that. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so Spock goes in to talk to Kirk because Uhura says we have to give him a chance. He's helped me in the past. This is his first time in command, and it is a hell of a time to have this kind of a first experience with this. So we have to give him a chance. So we have the first of many talks that Spock and Kirk are going to have about how to deal with situations, and we see the benefit of logic, for lack of a better term, applied to Kirk. And it really, really made me think of, again, we got to go back to Wrath of Khan. It really, really made me think of the symbolism with the glasses and the book at the end, where the glasses are broken, so he can't read the book, and how he is not complete without them. And I love how that's being built up. So.
Oh, I love that.
I never knew about that symbolism until I read it somewhere. It was like within the last few years, maybe the last decade or so. And it was one of those, sometimes you read something and it is almost as good as comes out of the page and slaps you in the face and goes, yeah. And I read that. I was like, oh.
Well, then you have those moments where you're like, I feel like I know most of the lore here, but then like you get struck by something and it's like,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. So he makes a plan that he's quite sure that Scotty isn't going to like. They're going to make the Farragut a more tempting target than the planet. So it goes after them. And they're going to do this by making the nacelles look like they're giving off the particles that the Aldentum produces. So.
Yep.
But in the meantime, on the Enterprise, we finally get to see Pelia's quarters. Because she's going to wire the Enterprise with copper lines and phones.
Okay, but does she have a switchboard? Like, just having the phones isn't going to do anything.
Well, don't think hard about that.
I mean, with all the stuff she had in her room or her quarters,
yeah,
she probably did. She probably did.
You could probably mock up the equivalent of a switchboard. I mean, if you think about it, they're running lines between 3 phones.
Yeah.
So you only need to connect those 3 phones. So you could probably mock up something. It's not like you have to dial into them.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
so it could just be that she's giving them the low voltage power as if the call is always connected.
Yeah.
And it would be like picking up a phone in the house, and someone else picks up the phone in the house, and you just talk to each other without making a call, which
Exactly.
you could do. So okay, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, we get the dial tone, which we shouldn't have in that case.
There's,
but,
there's that.
You gotta have the dial tone.
Gotta have that.
Yeah. So my aunt had one of those cat clocks, and she's 100% correct that they were cute for a minute, and then they got creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that she has a jukebox. There's just so much cool in her quarters.
There's just it's like the Andy Warhol painting, and then she's got so much statuary from the ancient world, and then there's just randomly
An Atari 2600.
Oh yeah, candles all over the place. If I knew about art, I could probably, somebody who knows about art could tell you about that flower painting that's in the background. She has a visor like Data for playing poker. Except hers is blue, but it's the same idea. Yeah, I want to see more of Palia's quarters.
And I do appreciate that all of those phones were older phones and not like the ones from the late 90s or whatever. That, I mean, all of those phones look like they actually could work on a rotary dialing system, where or pulse dialing, not necessarily rotary. Because it would have been a lot more complicated to set up a touch-tone system. Which, listeners, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's fine. You really don't need to.
The one she hands Ortegas is rotary.
Yes,
and then...
but the one she has in Benga has buttons, but it would still work with pulse dialing.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. And then the other one they use is the one that hung on everybody's kitchen wall. Which is the
Yep.
Oh, and then she's got another rotary phone there too. So
yeah, and the one on the wall is also the one from the wall is also rotary. Yeah, we had one like that. Although ours was what was that? What's that ugly color of yellow that a bunch of appliances in the 70s had?
Mustard.
Yeah, that's what ours was.
Nice.
Mustard.
Yeah. We had a brown phone. It was just a plain, just the solid plastic with the white buttons, and that is literally in the basement of this house, and it still works.
Oh, you still have landline service?
Well, it's through the cable company, but
right. Okay.
Yeah, my parents are 82 and 77. Yes, we have landlines.
Oh, well, no, my parents are late 70s, and they got rid of their landline service like 15 years, 15 years ago.
I could barely get my father to keep his flip phone and take it with him places.
Yeah. No, my parents both have iPhones that they're constantly asking me what to do with, how they do things on.
Yeah.
Which is why I insisted they get iPhones, so that I can walk them through it easily, because that's what I have.
I tried to do that with my mother when she got a smartphone. I said, I want you to get the exact same phone that I have, and that way I can help you. And she said, no, I don't want to do that. And and then she got a phone that I didn't know how to use, and it was a problem. And then the next phone she bought was a Samsung, like I have. So they're going to set up the thruster controls with Atari joysticks. I don't think they actually name drop Atari, but it was definitely an Atari that she hands them.
That was an Atari 2600 that she handed him,
yeah. A lot of 8-bit spaceships, but it was fun on a Friday night. So they're going to do that, and then they're going to run the phone up to the bridge so that Ortegas can look out the window and tell them which thrusters to fire.
Yep.
Sure. That works.
I like the idea of them, actually running a phone cord the whole length of the ship.
Oh my god, yes. Well, I like how they have to scavenge the ship for copper to make it work. So we're gonna kill the cop.
And I will say, like, landline phone is the most dirt simple of technologies.
Oh, yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
it is. In fact, yeah, it really just is 2 low voltage copper wires. That's all you need.
Makes you wonder why they didn't do that on the Defiant instead of having Nog run back and forth.
Because it wouldn't have been cool in
I know.
the mid '90s to do it, whereas
No, that's
in
true.
the 2020s it is.
Yeah, there are people who literally haven't used a phone like that who are watching this show.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like, if you don't know what I was talking about with pulse rotary and pulse dialing versus touchstone, don't worry about it.
That's true. Yes. So, they get that all wired up. That's fun. And at the same time, Pike and La'an, after having a brief brush with death, because you had to have that, and fighting the baddies in the bar. I really loved that Pike had that bottle of whatever the alcohol was, and she's like, I'll buy you a new one. I was like, okay. So they go and find one of the umbilicals, and they're gonna feed it baryon particles. Call back to Starship Mine.
It sours the milk.
Yeah. And then they use the thrusters and almost run into the wall, but then Una runs off and opens up an airlock, which kicks them to the side just enough so they don't run into the wall. And then they
Yeah,
leave.
that was good.
I love that. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it when she says the thrusters aren't responding, and Ortega's is just like, that's real bad.
I also like how this forces people to think about the phones in one place.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't get to take it with you. Right. So they do this while the Farragut is, of course, pulling them away from the planet, and then the way that they are finally going to disable them is by dropping the warp nacelles, which is, yeah. I mean, it works.
It works. Yeah, they drop the warp nacelles, and then the ship eats its own tail.
And then Kirk wants to shoot at it because he's Kirk. And
Spock points out that their weapons had been ineffective before. So then we get... I feel like we should have had a little bit of dialogue, because I saw a lot of people confused about this on the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have had a little bit of dialogue explaining what happens, but Kirk trusts Spock to do his thing, do his idea, so he does. And what he does is he fires photon torpedoes at that Klingon ship that we had called out earlier, and it explodes, which then causes the whole thing to explode.
Yeah. So, hooray! The good guys win.
Hooray!
But then,
we think.
But all those
Yeah.
those 7,000 people on that ship just died. And we find out that they're all human.
Yeah.
And none of them were on the original ship inside that didn't get blown up?
Well, was that original ship intact, I guess is the question.
Kind of looks it.
I mean, piece of it was intact, but would it have been
fair.
airtight, I guess is the question. Yeah. And also my question is, those suits that they were wearing, I assume they weren't wearing those on the ship, in day-to-day life, but at the same time, was there
I would have
nobody who was
expected
dressed
a couple of them to have been able to
Yeah.
get to their suits or whatever, but
Yeah. Or escape pods or something. I don't know. Maybe not escape pods, but I don't know, a turbo lift that's sealed off, or the equivalent.
if this had happened to our crew, a bunch of them would have managed to survive in some way or another.
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, we see that it is an old ship with an American flag on it.
Yes. No commentary there at all. Nothing at all.
I mean,
about
what
that.
are you saying that the United States has ruthlessly taken resources from other places without any regard for the effects on that process?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What?
Yeah, I know. I know. Why didn't it have like a British Empire flag on it? That would have been a more pointed
That would have been even more
example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like we are supposed to get the idea that this was mostly Americans.
Yeah, well,
and
they
that
say...
it was definitely NASA.
Mhm.
were
Yeah, because
the,
they
you know,
say
the
it was one of the few
post-apocalyptic
remaining
equivalent.
nations was able to put this together, and then we see the American flag. So yes, the assumption is
But Pelia says they pulled people from all over the world.
yes.
Okay, so just from a here we're all of an age where we can feel old about certain things. The way she talked about this reminded me of how I have heard myself and others of my cohort talk about like 9/11
Mhm.
or the beginning of that Iraq war, where it's
Yeah.
like I have a very distinct memory of this very important thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you've never heard of it, you know, or you vaguely know that something like that happened before you were
Yeah,
born.
no, that makes a lot of
And
sense. Yeah.
it was a very, I don't know, I had a moment listening to her talk about it, and it was not bad. It was just like, oh, I've been there.
Mhm.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I had a conversation with someone who had never heard of the Oklahoma City bombing.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, that's a better example because if they'd never heard of it.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
everyone's heard of 9/11, but
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't have the same emotional reaction to it that we do,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah, no, I talked to someone who had never even heard of the Oklahoma City bombing because like no one talks about that anymore. Why would they? But when
No,
it
it's not like
happened-
homegrown right-wing American terrorism is actually more of a problem.
Well, I mean, it is, but like, it's no longer viewed as bad. So is the.
No, that's
I mean,
true.
universally, that was viewed as universally viewed as a problem in the
Mhm.
'90s. It's not so much anymore.
Now it's being advocated for by the people in charge.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this is very much the human condition story,
Oh yeah.
and it is the opposite of what Trek says. It is
Mhm.
the human condition is to be violent and to be and to take what's needed and not care about what anybody else has going on, and that's how you create giant
I mean,
spaceship
is it
scavenger
the
thing.
opposite of what Trek says? Because Trek kind of says that we didn't manage to clean up anything until the Vulcans came and helped us, and this sort of reinforces
Okay.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking it's the negative as opposed to the positive that Trek presents. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, yeah, when you think about it, Trek does say that the human condition is violence, and the only way that we got past it was an external influence.
Pretty much.
Which is
Well,
probably true.
To me, it also was very much along the lines of like the importance of community, right? Like this, the ship of scavengers were severed from community, so like they had to do what they needed to do to survive, and that essentially made them very much the opposite of Starfleet and the Federation, right?
Mhm.
Whereas like they found strength and stability in community, and like the Vulcans being part of that community eventually, you know. So like it was very interesting to see like a retrospective, like what could have happened if mankind did not have that support and did not have that community.
Mhm.
I really wonder, and this is the fascinating thing we really want to book, but like I wonder if they truly thought that all life on Earth had died out and that they were alone. And that, like,
Probably.
anytime they encountered someone, they were aliens. I truly wonder if they had no idea, even at this point, that the people on the ship they had captured were largely human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, unless they happened across something that indicated there would be no reason for them to think that humanity had survived.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That almost feels worse if they think they're the last vestiges of humanity and this is how they're acting.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, but at the same time, they view it as an us or them sort of thing.
Desperation to survive, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, I hope there's more people than the 8 that are shown in the picture.
Well, that's a lot of inbreeding if those 8 people
Yeah.
turned into 7,000.
Yeah. Even over a 200-year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to assume there were a few more people on that ship.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 8 people is not enough for a... Well, that I suppose could also explain some of their behavior if they...
Yeah, there we go.
Because, yes,
Bunch
8
of-
people is
bunch
not
of
enough for a healthy
experts.
genetic pool.
No.
Nope. Yeah. But let's not let facts of such things get in the way of the story. Yeah, so now Kirk is kind of devastated. Not kind of. He's devastated at the concept. Wait a second.
Great
Okay,
conversation
no,
with
there's-
Kirk and Pike there.
There's 10 people when they pulled out further on the picture, and Uhura's head isn't in the way.
Oh, well,
Still
now
not
it's okay
enough,
then.
But yeah, you know.
10? That's
Sorry.
fine. You can
Yeah, I know.
absolutely create a stable gene pool with 10 people.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, it's a wonderful conversation that Kirk and Pike have. You were starting to say.
Yeah, where Pike says that the very fact that they're having this conversation and saying this is he hopes a sign that they would not end up like that.
Mm-hmm.
It
Sounds
really
good.
reminded me of the card conversation from TNG where he says that it's possible to... Oh, what did
Commit
he
no
say?
errors and still lose.
Exactly. Right.
Yes. That is
Yeah.
not weakness, that is life.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I was just gonna say the message Pike conveys about like you're having empathy for your enemies, and that's what distinguishes us from essentially being a monster, right? Like we have empathy, even in the light of desperation when we have to do what we can to survive. So I thought that was very thought provoking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm
Sorry,
just,
you
I'm
put
trying
us
to
into thought.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah. What's the word? Formulating. Processing. There we go. Yeah, because I was just thinking about reconciling this with the way Kirk talks about Klingons,
mm-hmm.
you know, and he doesn't have this when it comes to them.
Yeah.
Even later, and later, after David is killed, you can kind of go, yeah, okay, there's more logic behind that than just the political Cold War issues,
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, and the fact that in that conversation he emphasizes but they were human, and it's like, but they were living, right? So that really should be what the priority is. So, and no, I thought that was interesting. I thought that was an interesting, slight foreshadowy thing.
there is a little touch of the Americanism in there too, though,
Mhm.
because it's they are not the other,
Right.
and for Starfleet the other is not human, but for Americans the other is, well, for some Americans the other is not American.
Yeah.
And the definition of that is relative.
I mean, if
depending on who
anything,
you're
I
talking.
thought the message here was very relevant to what's happening.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, for sure.
and extra relevant in the week of Victory in Japan Day. It's the anniversary of the last week was the anniversary of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings.
Yep.
So, yeah. Which I'm sure they didn't plan it out that way, but there it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of these things that go back to whether or not Starfleet's a military organization.
I mean, they tell us it's not. Can't we take them at face value?
Yeah.
I continue to say that Starfleet is not implicitly a military organization, but it does function as the military when required.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to parse it.
Yeah.
You can go back to Boimler at the Starfleet job fair.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
at the job fair where there was Starfleet. All we want to do is go look at pulsars. You guys keep attacking us. Yeah. So, yeah, this was a very Trek episode. It had its heavy moments, but it had that, the wonderful light moment with the phones and the Atari and all of that. And
Solid episode.
good
Oh, yeah.
message, good social commentary.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Love it.
I happen to think about it, because, like, I'm saying this is one of my favorite episodes. Like, it sort of snuck up on me, but, like, so many of my favorite episodes of Strange New Worlds feature Paul Wesley as Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw you mention that. Yeah.
It's
And
like
I
tomorrow
hadn't
and
really
tomorrow
thought
and
about it,
tomorrow. I'm blanking on the name, but the one from the end of season 1, the alternate balance of terror, Quality of Mercy.
Yes, Quality of Mercy. Yeah.
I mean, heck, even Subspace Rhapsody.
Oh,
Yeah, he doesn't have a big role, but he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he grew on me. Longtime listeners will recall me saying that I couldn't get past the fact that he looked like Jim Carrey in the 90s, and
Yeah.
I've gotten past that. So.
same.
Yeah, like, his first appearance, I wasn't 100%, like, sure, but, like, as he continued, yeah, no, I absolutely accept him as Kirk now.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it helps to, we have to remember that we didn't see him as our Kirk until halfway through season 2, except for that little message between him and Lon at the end of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
still not sure how I feel about the other TV show that is not happening yet, but people were talking about, which is the one that Akiva Goldsman wants to do, which is year 1 of the Enterprise's 5-year mission with Captain Kirk. I'm not sure about that, but
Oh, if you're gonna do that, do it in the Kelvin timeline like they had intended to do from Beyond.
Yeah.
I know they can't at this point, but
as long as they... Did you read the wacky Kelvin timeline comics back in the day?
some of them.
Where
Some of them, not all
where
of
they
them.
basically just did
Yeah.
alternate versions of old TOS episodes.
Yeah. Which
Some
was
of them
fine
were
in
good,
comic
and
book
some of
form.
them were insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not want to see that on the screen. But
No, absolutely not.
No.
yeah, as much as I would like to see, well, I'd like to see more of Paul Wesley and Ethan Peck and the rest who are playing our classic characters. I don't want to see the rehash of everything that we've seen.
Just have them show up in the pilot of the Star Trek Vanguard series that they need to make, and
Yes.
there we
There
go.
we go.
Perfect.
Because
There
then they
we
can
go.
reuse all these Strange New Worlds era sets for Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount, I don't know if you're listening, but, it's a good idea.
Do
Just
that.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually more likely that Paramount's listening than John Jackson Miller.
That's true. Make sure that we're using our access correctly,
Yeah.
and appropriately.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that there could be an intern at Paramount that listens to every Star Trek podcast.
Yeah, and every podcast about every show that
Yeah,
they
all the
offer up,
Paramount
or
shows, yeah.
having to read all of the articles for the people who get screeners to do, to do.
And it's probably
reviews
not
and
just the
stuff.
screeners. They probably do all of them, just in general, to, like, see what's happening.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. If they were to do that, if they were to pick up with the TOS crew, this is going to sound strange, maybe. I would like them to comb through the novels and
Okay.
pick out the best stories from those.
Yeah.
I would like to see, like we talk about with Vanguard,
Mhm.
there are other novels that are just set randomly within the 5-year mission that you could very easily pick up.
There's hundreds of them, yeah.
Literally
Thousands,
hundreds of
probably.
them, yeah. And there's one that is there was a novelization of The Joy Machine, which was supposed to be the episode that was going to be produced after Turnabout Intruder.
Mm-hmm.
Which admittedly is at the wrong time period for this, but you could, I don't think that would be terribly relevant,
Yeah.
And there's lots of other stories too. If they're going to do it, don't show us anything that we've seen unless it's absolutely necessary for continuing the storyline.
Agreed.
But I'd rather see Legacy. Honestly.
Same.
I'd rather have, I of the two, I'd rather have Legacy as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Legacy, but
something. God, I'm going to sound like those people that didn't like when Discovery came out because it was a prequel. I don't have a problem with a prequel, but let's not cover the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I would like to see something.
You want to see
something?
You want to see something early 25th century continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want but if we're gonna do that, rather than Legacy, do like I don't know, DS9 2.0 or something.
And we're back to Vanguard.
Yeah. Well, that's DS9 0.0.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
More Star Trek.
Sirach
Do more
Lofton
Star Trek.
as Ben Sisko.
Yes. Man, it would be wild if they did an adaptation of those IDW comics.
Those ones that have been coming. Yeah, and I've sat on those.
The ones that
are.
with Cisco and Scotty and a bunch of other people.
Mm-hmm. Iconic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, I've been listening to Delta Flyers. I've been going through DS9 because they've been going through DS9 with it, which you should do if you're not. It's fantastic.
I haven't yet. I want to.
Yeah.
But I never finished Voyager with them, actually.
I hadn't either, but I just skipped ahead.
Fair.
I
feel bad. I've been like a patron of theirs for years. Because
since the beginning.
Yeah, since the beginning. But I've only listened to a handful of episodes.
Oh. The Voyager ones, I like the DS9 better because it's new to them.
Mm-hmm.
The Voyager ones are interesting because, they have this inside baseball kind of thing, but there's been moments where there've been reveals and Robbie Duncan McNeil is just beautiful about oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And,
Yeah.
I mean, also, I mean, not to say I don't like Voyager. I do, but I do like DS9 more than Voyager, so.
Same.
I'm the only
okay.
I love Voyager more, but I love DS9 very much.
It's not an anti-Voyager. It's just a.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, same. There's no Star Trek series I don't like.
Well, because they didn't turn Section 31 into a series.
If they had made Section 31 into a series, it might have actually been good.
It would. Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry. I had to just.
Gosh, they floundered Michelle Yeoh. I am so angry about that. Anyway.
So they were talking about Avery Brooks, and Terry Farrell makes some often one of them says, it'd be really nice to see him in something again, and she just goes, it'd be really nice if I just heard from him, which made me sad.
Yeah.
Because that means that we've known for a long time that he's not involved in any of this, but that means he's not communicating with any of them either, which just makes me sad.
Yeah, that makes me sad too.
So.
I mean, Ira Stephen Bear, I know around the time of the documentary said that he had talked to him, but yeah.
Yeah, but not enough to get him to go, do a new interview or.
Right.
Yeah.
And him talking to him may have been him calling up and saying, "Hey, we're doing this thing," and Brooks saying no, and then.
I think that was basically what happened.
Yeah. So. Anyway.
He said he'd already said all he wanted to say about Star Trek.
So has everyone. That's on it,
I was gonna say, what do you mean?
The cast.
I was gonna say, what do you mean? So is everyone? Are we gonna stop this podcast now? Is that what you're saying? No. You've said all you ever want to say about Star Trek?
God, no.
Because I can't relate.
We're dealing with new. No, but I mean, I would venture to say that people who started on DS9 have probably said all they have to say about their characters and what they've done, and so I get that. But so you just say it again. I don't know.
Yeah, repeat it. We're good with that.
I mean, Donnie, you and I do that literally every semester. We just say the same thing over and over again.
We do. constantly.
And Avery Brooks was a professor at Rutgers. He should be familiar with that sort of thing.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. All the more reason he should. He should just have a lecture prepared and just go into it. All right. Anyway.
Which is why I really do wonder, in the case of Avery Brooks, that there's also a medical situation that he just doesn't feel like revealing at all.
That never occurred to me.
Possible.
That that's why he stepped away from private life. Like maybe there's a medical thing that he wants to keep private.
Yeah, if he's sick, if he's got particularly if it's something that's going to affect that's externally obvious or visible, like Parkinson's.
That Parkinson's
Alzheimer's
was my first
something.
thought. Yeah, but it could be many things.
Yeah.
To be clear, this is just my thought. I am not
speculation.
Internet. I am not saying that Avery Brooks has Parkinson's. Please do not run with that.
Yeah. So no, that hadn't occurred to me. Okay, and that makes it a little more. That makes it both more understandable and also still sad. Anyway, transition. Anything else we want to say about this episode?
I loved it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yep. All right. Well, Donny, thank you so much for joining us for the discussion today. Where can listeners find you online? And what current and upcoming work would you like to mention?
So, thank you for having me. It's I always look forward to any time I am able to join you guys.
We look forward to having you.
It's always fun to nerd out together. So people can find me on YouTube, Donny Winter. My current running podcast, Growing Up with Godzilla, is on its 4th season. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I invite fans on to talk about how they've grown as Godzilla fans, and we end up having very interesting social conversations about social issues, historical context, so on and so forth. So go check that out. You can also find it on streaming services. We just passed the 100 episode mark recently, so woo!
Yay.
So yeah.
Don't know if this is something you want to plug, but you're going to be at that conference in October in Chicago with Rebecca?
Yes, I'm going to be at the PFLAG. Yeah, I'm going to be at the PFLAG National Convention, and we're going to be doing a presentation on how to create a resource library. So that's going to be really fun. I completely forgot about that. So,
Thad, where can people find you when you're not figuring out how to restore the landlines in your home?
I actually do know that the landline works in my house because I had to use it for work when I first moved in.
There you go.
I mean, it's been turned off for a long time, but best place.
Wires are still there.
You can listen to me on the podcast I do with my friend Carl called License to Spiel. That's license spelled with a C like the British do it. Where we started out talking about James Bond, ran out of that, started talking about other things, and are currently making our way through Columbo. And you can find links to all of my socials and podcasts on my website, tyrannicus.net. That's TYRANICUS.net. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not...
piloting a starship with an Atari joystick?
Yeah, there we go. When you're not piloting a starship with an Atari joystick.
This was a tough one to find something funny to say for that.
Yeah. In your best Jonathan Frakes manner.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that wasn't an Atari joystick, but yes.
Yeah. Right. In addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on the BQN, that short history podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. I'm also to chat about our shows on the BQN Collective on Facebook and in the Discord. And I'm on the various socials as the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics.
Don't forget all our other great shows on BQN. Here's a recording of Amy to tell you all about them.
Calling all audiophiles and Trekkies. Prepare to boldly go where no podcast listener has gone before with the diverse soundscapes of BQN. We're not just a network, we're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Charting the Star Trek cosmos, we have all good things. embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy Class, Engage. Stephen and Stefan pilots this deep space mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek The Next Generation. Infinite Diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissie and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiances lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into the rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the TBAB? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as a podcast are Trexperts Quiz. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. Beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Szilagyi. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissie and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. And Transformational Journeys. Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. To unlock deeper levels of engagement, try our patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. And check out our back catalog of It's Green, a verdant cornucopia of topics offering diverse and engaging conversations, and Amy's Math Moments. Discover the subtle and not so subtle mathematical wonders woven into the fabric of Star Trek. You can stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following at BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
If you want to reach out, you can find the network on the socials at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at INIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and join our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we'll be talking about the next episode of Strange New Worlds. What is Starfleet? Until then, peace and long life.
We'll finally find out if it's a military organization.
Right?